I want to tell you a story today about the power of things and the stories we tell about things. In 2009, one of the most powerful psychology experiments was conducted when two researchers decided to try out an experiment. They went to eBay, spent a grand total of $128, buying 100 items, so each one costing, on average, $1.29. Nonsense things, little nonsense things that you wouldn't pay anything for, really. Then what happens next is fascinating. They find 100 writers and they said to each writer, here, take this, whatever, come up with a backstory. And these writers went away, wrote up an interesting story about each item, and then they relisted the items on eBay again. And guess how much that sold for? $3,600. So from 128, it went to 3,600. What does this have to do with mindful hedonism? Well, today's Mindful Monday lesson is about enjoy your things. And how often do we go about our everyday really looking at the things that we have all around us? And I've got two items here to practice with today. One of them is my set of keys, and the other one is a candle, which, as you can see, has been partly used. And today's mindful hedonism lesson is about three things: stop, look, connect. Stop to look at an item that we take for granted. That's why it's called enjoying your things. So if we take this candle, for instance, it's just been lying around. It's got two bigger candles in the series. All of them are pretty much, burned down to the same level. They're from a UK furniture store called Habitat, so really nothing special. I stop, look at this thing. Step 2, I really connect with the story of this candle. And this candle was given to me by my daughter last Christmas. It was our second Christmas in our family home. Just the four of us, me and the three kids. And my daughter, who was 13 then, had used some of her pocket money that she had saved up. And I said to her, you don't need to buy me anything. It doesn't matter. It's just, And she said, no, Mama, I want to get you something. And so she went off to Habitat, and the three candles probably worth about £5. That's about $7 US. But when I stop and I look at this candle that I walk past every day, and I really allow myself to do the third step, which is to connect with the story that's inside this thing, that is enjoyment. That is meaningful connection, and that is reawakening all the poignancy, the complex memories and intentions and people and place and all these things that our things are connected to, that we don't really notice them, or we don't really let the aliveness of these things come to us when we're going about our everyday, because they're just there. And we live amongst hundreds of things. But here's the joy of this exercise of stop, look, and connect. It can be done with whatever in your vicinity. And just as I felt really emotional looking at this candle, thinking about how proud she was to buy me this little thing and how meaningful that Christmas was for us, all that feeling just comes back to us. And the other item are my keys, for instance. And again, these are things that we carry about all the time. But if we stop, give ourselves a mindful moment, not rushing about, just a couple of seconds. This could be anywhere. It could be while you're sitting in the car in a traffic jam, or in the subway, or in the train, even walking, and you put your hand in your pocket and you feel the keys. You don't even need to look at them. You can just take in that sensation with your hands. But you stop, you look, or you feel. And in a moment of mindful presence, you allow yourself to really connect back to the story of this thing for you. What did it take to get this item to you? What does it mean if it were not in your life? Maybe, like me, you've lost your keys before. And you will know, those of you listening to this, the sheer panic that just spikes through you when something that you take for granted like that just is suddenly not there anymore. And I often think to myself, with negativity bias and everything being so much stronger than the positivity, and therefore what's in the cultivation, the potential for cultivation for well-being that lies in the intentional opposite of negativity bias, that if we were to feel the same spike of pleasure, you know, at having this thing, enjoying it, that is equivalent to the panic and the negativity that happens when this thing is not with us anymore. So that's my exercise for today for Mindful Mondays. Pick anything, small little thing, don't make it too big. And let's practice some enjoyment of these things by stopping, looking, maybe helping to close your eyes, and just in that moment connecting inside with yourself. What does having this thing in your life really mean to you? Really mean to you? And give yourself the pleasure of sitting with that and letting that just unfold. And I promise you, you start feeling some pretty meaningful feelings for you. Stretch goal would be to start applying this to the people in your life. Leave your comments below and let me know what you used this exercise for and how you found the exercise.